Good evening, everybody. My name's Andrew Spitzer. I'm proud this year again to be the president of the board of directors of Mental Health Advocacy Services. And I'd like to welcome everyone to MHAS's virtual annual event, our second in a row. I want to thank everyone for taking time to be here with us this evening. And thank you for all of your support ahead of this event, whether you purchased a ticket, purchased a tribute in our tribute journal, donated items for our party boxes or our opportunity drawing, or donated. Thank you very much. In particular, big thanks to all of this evening's sponsors. In particular, our silver sponsors this year are Alston and Bird, the Association for Corporate Growth Global, Esquire Bank, First Legal, Mitchell Silverberg and Knupp, and FTI Consulting. Our gold sponsors are Barry and Sue Shanley and Skadden. Our platinum sponsors are Russ August and Kabat, and the Margaret M. Bloomfield Family Foundation. And last but not least, our Emerald sponsors, Munger, Tolles, and Olson. Thank you all. The last 5 years, I've had the privilege of performing in a law firm Battle of the Bands competition on behalf of MHAS. We've worked to raise money for MHAS. And each year, I always plan a time where in between songs, I can say a little something about the group, try to drum up a little bit more money for the organization. And this year I was planning it and thinking about what I would say. And I realized pretty much every year, I always say the same thing. And that's because my enthusiasm and the reason why I'm involved in MHAS has not changed. It stays the same. It's because MHAS is the only organization exclusively dedicated to providing free legal services to low-income folks in Los Angeles County with mental health disabilities. And mental health really touches on all of the things that we care the most about, all of the things that we want to see change in our world are helped and touched by the things that MHAS does. We've got multiple program areas, fair housing and direct homeless prevention, consumer advocacy, fighting against predatory practices for those with mental health disabilities. Project New Start is a project that addresses barriers to entry for people who've been incarcerated and directly helps bring them into the fold in society. And a groundbreaking medical legal partnership in LA County that's become a model that other counties are following. These direct programs directly influence the lives of the folks that MHAS helps. And despite even all of the things that have happened in the last year and a half, still 3,000 clients directly helped last year, on pace to do the same thing. An organization that's run by dedicated attorneys and staff who devote their careers to helping those with mental health disabilities and addressing all of the things that we want to see addressed in our community. Why would I not be involved in that? Why would I not want to dedicate my time and my effort and yes, my money to this organization? So there's nothing really new and snappy that I have to say when I play those shows, and there's nothing new and snappy I have to say here today. It's the same thing. These are people who deserve our support, who need our support, and who provide incredible work in the community. I want to thank you all for being here to help us with that. Tonight's program is going to feature messages from several elected officials and mental health advocates who've been at the forefront of advancing policy on behalf of low-income folks with mental health disabilities, including our first two speakers, Congresswoman Karen Bass and mental health advocate and professor Ellen Sachs. We also have several prizes that we'll be giving away live between now and 8 p.m. If you're a ticketed guest, your name's already been automatically entered into these drawings, so please stay with us and good luck. And now, it's my pleasure and my honor to introduce Congresswoman Karen Bass.
Hello, everyone. Let me congratulate you for the work that you're doing on what I believe is one of the most important issues in our community and in our country. MHAS, the work that you have done in advocating for people who are struggling with mental illness is absolutely critical. I think last year, as we all went through a crisis, suddenly our whole worlds changed, what seemed to be overnight. And we were isolated and alone for so long last year that many people, millions of people who never really gave much thought to their mental health, all of a sudden recognize that all of us, any of us at any time in our life can be challenged with the stability of our mental health and our basic well-being. We've watched now athletes decide not to compete in the Olympics because they wanted to take care of their mental health, or other athletes who turned down challenges in big competitions. And I think it's brought this issue to the fore in a way that I'm hoping that one day we will look at mental health in the same way we do physical health. In Los Angeles, we have over 44,000 people, Los Angeles City, 44,000 people on any given day or night are in the streets. Not all of them, but many of them are struggling with mental health. At some point in our country, I hope that we can really have the type of system that is true parity, that there is no difference between mental and physical health, and that we provide all of the support and services that we would need, just like if it was diabetes or a heart condition or any other challenge to our physical or mental health. Thank you so much again for the work that you're doing. I applaud your leadership and look forward to working with you in the future.
Hi, my name's Ellen Sachs. I want to thank Mental Health Advocacy Services and congratulate the organization for over 40 years of services to low-income people with mental health challenges. And I want to congratulate in particular Tony Coelho on his well-deserved honor. He's the originator and author of the Americans with Disabilities Act and is this year's recipient of the Jim Price Memorial Award. So ADA, Americans with Disabilities Act, Senator Patrick Kennedy, who was someone with lived experience himself, said mental health disabilities is this generation's civil rights issue, and I thought that was exactly right. I want to stress that the need remains high among individuals with mental health challenges for access to high-quality services. This is especially so in this time of COVID, where more people are experiencing depression, fear, and anxiety, which obviously is a bad thing. A kind of silver lining is they may sympathize more or empathize more with other people who suffer these things every day. I will share a little bit about myself. So I'm a professor at USC Law School, focusing on mental health law, and I am also someone with lived experience of schizophrenia. I was very fortunate that my dean went to central administration to get permission for me to come into the office to work, because that's really essential to my mental health well-being, and I took that as a really great gift. In a sense, it's sort of like an implicit Americans with Disabilities Act claim, where the reasonable accommodation was letting me work as I have, how I had, the same way all the time. That's the reasonable accommodation. And I look forward in the future to the Sachs Institute continuing to collaborate with MHAS in the future. Thank you very much. Enjoy.
The mission of Mental Health Advocacy Services is to protect and advance the rights of low-income adults and children with mental health disabilities. Also to empower them to assert those rights in order to maximize their autonomy, achieve equity, and secure the resources they need to thrive. My name is Jenny Farrell, and I'm the Executive Director of Mental Health Advocacy Services. Mental Health Advocacy Services was founded in 1977 at a time when folks with mental illness were living in state hospitals, living in horrifying conditions, and being physically and mentally abused. As those hospitals started to close, we shifted our focus to providing legal services and advocacy for folks living in community. Today, we serve about 3,000 individuals every year. We also provide over 100 trainings every year to mental health professionals, other attorneys, consumers, and family member groups on a wide array of the rights of people with mental health disabilities.
I believe in the organization because I love the work that we do. We represent people who are facing really difficult challenges.
When we go out in the community and are educating people about their rights, they not only can apply that to whatever their present legal challenge may be, but hopefully they're able to then take that knowledge with them the rest of their life. It feels really great to be recognized by the NFL as one of the 56 organizations being honored this year. I think we're just really excited to have this opportunity to share that our organization exists and to gain a bit more exposure from being part of this tremendous program. You know, the stigma around mental illness is going down, but unfortunately it does still exist. It's really important for folks with mental health disabilities to know that there are organizations there that they can reach out to for free services. So folks can learn more about mental health advocacy services by visiting our website, www.mhas-la.org. Every day we are working towards a Los Angeles where everyone is treated fairly, where folks with mental health disabilities are free from stigma, free from discrimination, free from injustice.
All right, welcome everyone. My name is Jerome Wilhort. I'm a board member here for the Mental Health Advocacy Services. I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. And to be honest, I have the best job of the night. I get to give you stuff. So let's get started. All right, the first prize in our opportunity drawing, we'll be doing 3 prizes right now. And the first prize in our opportunity drawing, I'll be drawing from my trusty magic hat here. You can't see it, of course, but whatever. All right, trust me, I have a magic hat with all of your names in it, and I'm pulling it out. The first prize is going to be 4 VIP tickets to the Broad Museum in downtown Los Angeles. Passes allow guests to skip the general admission line. I pulled out a name, and the first winner tonight is Alex Connolly. Alex Connolly, congratulations. You win those 4 VIP tickets to the Broad Museum. Next up, we have 2 two-day tickets to Six Flags Magic Mountain. So 2 tickets for 2 days to Six Flags Magic Mountain. Sort of drum roll, please, and we'll pull out another name here. Lavatra Menon. Lavatra Menon, congratulations. You get those 2 tickets to Six Flags Magic Mountain. And finally, we have an amazing gift from In-N-Out. It's a gift set, which includes an air freshener, clear cup, neon beach towel, 3D logo lanyard, California Dreamin' magnet, license plate frame, gray hat, t-shirt, and a postcard set. What more could you ask for? A fantastic prize. We're shaking up the hat and we're going to pull out a name. And congratulations to Kyra Clipper. Kyra Clipper, you win that In-N-Out gift set. All right, folks, now let's be just a little bit more serious for a second. We can only do the important work of providing free legal services to low-income folks with mental health disabilities with your support. So if you haven't yet made a donation towards this event, or even if you already have, we welcome your additional donations this evening via text. Simply send a text message to 44321, type MHAS in your message, hit send, and you can follow the simple steps to make a donation. And of course, we still accept good old-fashioned checks in the mail, and you can always donate on our website at any time by clicking donate. You know, I think we're all dealing with the built-up stress and anxiety, probably feeling your shoulders from everything our country and we all individually have been through these past 18 months. So I'm pleased to next introduce you to Adriana Alejandra, founder of Latinx Therapy, who is going to teach us all some stress-relieving breathing techniques. So let's get comfy, sit back, and enjoy.
Hi, my name is Adriana Alejandre. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist in the state of California. And I just want to say thank you so much for having me. For the next few minutes, I'm going to be guiding you into a very gentle, deep breathing exercise. The exercise is going to be diaphragmatic breathing. It can also be known as belly breaths, deep breathing, but I'm going to teach you to use your diaphragm area. So with that, I'm going to be sharing my screen to show you where this area is at. Okay, so here on the screen, you have your lung area. And just a disclaimer, I'm a therapist, okay? So I only have super basic knowledge about this, but let's proceed. So our diaphragm area is at the bottom of the rib cage, okay? So it is a parachute looking thing. It is right here. That's how it looks like when it's relaxed, like a little parachute. Okay, so the reason why I'm showing you this is because we're going to pull the breath from the diaphragm area. So when you inhale, the diaphragm pulls down. When you exhale, when you're blowing out, it relaxes. The air is coming out of the body. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. The diaphragm area, it's about a couple inches above the belly button, okay? And right in the center of the rib cages, as I mentioned. So you want to go ahead and place your hand there. We're going to get ready to begin with the exercise. Sometimes when you place your hand on your body, it allows the brain to connect to that area a little bit quicker. Other times it doesn't. Now, you do not have to place your hand on your body, especially if you do not feel safe doing that. So the steps for the diaphragmatic breathing is going to look like this. We're going to inhale for 4 slow seconds in through the nose, very slowly and softly. And then you're going to hold in the throat area for about another 4 seconds. And then you're going to exhale out from the mouth for 8 very slow seconds. You want to be sure that when you inhale through the nose, that diaphragm area gently is popping out. And when you exhale, it's relaxing, deflating. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go ahead and inhale for 4 slow seconds. Hold. Exhale. Okay. So if it feels right for you, go ahead and inhale again, very slowly. Hold. And exhale. And one last time. Inhale in through the nose, very gently and softly. Hold. And exhale. Deflate with your breath, lowering your shoulders. Very good. All right. So if you are yawning, that means you did it right. If you feel lightheaded, that's normal. There's oxygen flowing within yourself, so you might feel a little lightheaded. Please do not make any sudden movements. Be very gentle with yourself, with your body. If you have difficulty falling asleep, this is a really great exercise for you to try as you are attempting to go back to sleep or go to sleep. So the more breaths that you engage in, the better. What happens physiologically is we have a nervous system. We have the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. Now there's more functions within each of these, but one of them says rest and digest, and the other one is the stress response, which is the fight, flight, freeze, fawn. And that one is more so the sympathetic. We want to activate the parasympathetic, the one that says let's rest and digest. And so a mind-body exercise such as deep breathing, diaphragmatic breathing will activate that. When you are yawning, that is a sign that you have activated it. If you feel fatigue or sleepy or tired, that means most likely you activated it. I really hope that this not meditation, but I hope that this breathing exercise was helpful for you all. I recommend that you engage in 3 breaths in one sitting and challenge yourself to go slower and slower each time. Now, if you have any difficulties with your lungs or with respiratory issues, you can go ahead and lower the seconds from 4 to maybe 2 or 3. Everybody should be mindful of their own body, of how many seconds feels right. I'll disclose that for myself, it took me about 5 years to really understand how long I need my breath to be. And I've been able to go longer and longer each time. So I can inhale for about 10 seconds and exhale for 20 seconds. Now, if you do yoga, this is most likely a practice that you already engage in. So you can go ahead and add meditation. You can go ahead and add slow music to this exercise, positive thoughts, if that's helpful for you. So just about anything that is relaxing. So again, this is called diaphragmatic breathing, and I hope that it was helpful for you. Happy healing.
My name is Greg. I've lived in Los Angeles my entire life. I was born in Los Angeles. I was experiencing mental challenges when I was a young man, and I was diagnosed with schizophrenia about 10 years ago. I've been living in Koreatown for over 6 years now in the same building. After the building was sold, the manager told me that she was no longer going to be accepting subsidy payments anymore. She also told me that she was going to be raising my rent significantly. I was really scared and I did not know how I was going to pay my rent. I called mental health advocacy services so that someone would help me with my case. Alana called me within a couple of days and said she would take my case.
I received a referral through our intake process regarding a case of potential illegal eviction. I called the client and was immediately blown away by the degree to which his housing provider seemed to be willing to ignore his rights. It would have been illegal for Greg's landlord to increase his rent by this much at any time, but especially during the pandemic when all rent increases in rent-stabilized properties in LA City have been capped at 0. I immediately recognized that this amounted to illegal source of income discrimination and a violation of the LA City Rent Stabilization Ordinance.
I had no idea what my rights were or what they were doing was illegal. I was not aware of what they were doing.
Greg had only been dealing directly with his on-site manager, and in fact, he didn't even know who his current landlord was. We tracked down his landlord and sent them a demand letter, including requests for reasonable accommodation and setting forth all of the things that they were doing wrong. As a result of this letter, we were able to educate Greg's housing provider and, more importantly, ensure that he was able to stay housed and continue using his housing subsidy. Even before we were able to complete the extensive advocacy to make sure Greg stayed housed, I feel that we were able to provide an important service in giving information about his rights and about eviction process. An important conversation that I had with Greg was when I explained that an unlawful detainer would not result in him being arrested, which was a concern he had based on the word detainer.
Working with Alana was wonderful. She was on top of everything, very responsive. With Alana's help, I was able to stay in my unit, still using my housing subsidy.
We were able to connect Greg with the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program for assistance with filing his 2020 taxes. And we were also able to advocate to them to allow Greg to use his disabled person's bus pass as a form of photo ID.
With Alana's help, I was able to get $3,200, which I'm actually saving in the event there's another emergency.
Helping clients like Greg stay housed is always important, but has been especially critical over the past 18 months during the pandemic. Having a private home space can allow a person to socially distance, to wash their hands, and to simply have the privacy and security necessary to maintain overall health.
I'm very grateful to Alana and Mental Health Services for helping me stay in my home.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight and for supporting the work of Mental Health Advocacy Services. I want to thank all my colleagues at MHAS who are joining us live tonight. You all are such an intelligent and compassionate and dedicated team, and we're all just fortunate that you continue to do this work every day. Special shout out to our Community Relations Coordinator, Angie Heel, who really did all of the developing and planning and executing of tonight's event, and also to our longtime Director of Administration and Finance, Renee Cook, who truly is the backbone of our organization. I want to begin by sharing a bit about what MHAS has been up to recently and where we are likely headed in the years to come. You all know by now that MHAS provides free legal services for low-income adults and children with mental health disabilities. For much of its 44-year history, MHAS provided these services somewhat independently. We prided ourselves on being that organization where folks experiencing severe mental illness who have been turned away from other organizations could come to receive much needed legal advice and representation related to the discrimination and barriers they are facing in their lives. Increasingly, we're providing these services in partnership with healthcare and mental health care providers through a model known as medical legal partnership. Medical legal partnerships integrate the expertise of lawyers into healthcare settings to help clinicians, case managers, and social workers address structural problems at the root of so many health issues. Now, there have been several studies done on medical legal partnerships, and these studies show a range of benefits when lawyers and legal advocates are co-located at hospitals and medical clinics, working alongside doctors, nurses, and other medical staff to address the legal needs of their patients, such as problems that they may be having with their housing, benefits, finances, or employment, which can cause or exacerbate health problems. These studies show the following results for people receiving legal services at medical legal partnerships. Number one, patients with chronic illness are healthier and admitted to the hospital less frequently. Number two, patients are more likely to take medication as prescribed. Number three, patients are less stressed and experience improvements in mental health. Number four, patients are more stably housed and their utilities are less likely to be shut off. And number five, patients have access to greater financial resources. 4 years ago, MHAS joined LA County's groundbreaking Medical Legal Community Partnership, or MLCP, a project administered by LA County's Department of Health Services and part of the county's whole person care approach. Through this MLCP, MHAS and our 3 sister legal aid organizations have assisted thousands of patients with legal issues to ensure that they have the resources and support needed to achieve health outcomes and well-being. Last year, MHAS launched a new mental health legal partnership in which legal services targeting low-income tenants with mental health disabilities who are at risk of homelessness is holistically integrated in partnership with 2 of the largest community mental health care providers in Los Angeles, Didi Hirsch and Mental Health America Los Angeles. Clients are provided with legal representation in landlord-tenant rental disputes, legal services to improve the habitability of their homes, and representation to ensure that they are receiving all the benefits and income to which they are entitled. Finally, MHAS currently hosts an awesome Equal Justice Works Fellow, Courtney Mendoza, who has launched a new medical legal partnership with Los Angeles County's Nurse Family Partnership, or NFP. NFP provides at-home physical and mental health care to low-income mothers facing mental health challenges during pregnancy and after giving birth. Now, I love all of our projects, But as someone who suffered postpartum depression and anxiety after the birth of my first child, I have to say that this project holds a special place in my heart. Through this medical legal partnership, MHAS provides critically needed legal services, support, and advocacy on a range of legal issues from housing to domestic violence, sometimes through at-home visits, so that these women can focus on taking care of themselves and their babies. So those are the medical legal partnerships that MHAS is currently actively participating in. But I will tell you that we are now in conversation with several additional community-based mental health service providers to explore launching additional mental health legal partnerships with them, and at those facilities where folks are already coming multiple times a week to receive mental health treatment. While medical legal partnerships have been around for several decades, mental health legal partnerships, specifically targeting folks with mental health disabilities, is still cutting edge. In fact, when I Google mental health legal partnership, the first hit I get is a psychologist in New Zealand who is advocating for the New Zealand government to broadly implement this model, because of course, New Zealand is awesome. And the next hit I get is actually an article referencing a mental health legal partnership that our very own housing supervising attorney, Naomi Sultan, launched at the beginning of her legal career as a Skadden Fellow at MHAS, where she served homeless veterans in partnership with Mental Health America's Operation Healthy Homecoming. This is clearly an area ripe for further research, investment, and support. Imagine what a difference it could make to have an MHAS attorney co-located at every community-based mental health clinic across Los Angeles County. What impact would that have on our homelessness crisis? What impact would that have on our mental health crisis? If you want to find out, text us a donation. Just kidding, not really. So speaking of our homelessness crisis, homelessness prevention and keeping folks with mental illness housed and off the streets has grown to become our single largest practice area over the past couple of years. I think about homelessness a lot. It's hard not to if you're driving around Los Angeles. Someone said something to me recently that has really stuck with me, which is, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. I've been thinking about how that quote applies to our homelessness crisis. For decades, people experiencing homelessness have been criminalized for sitting, eating, and living on sidewalks. They have been shooed away, and their possessions have literally been swept off of the sidewalks to keep them clear, because we were told we need to keep those spaces clear for people to walk on. Isn't it interesting then that when COVID-19 hit, suddenly these exact same public spaces were designated perfectly acceptable for, wait for it, sitting and eating? Now, I'm glad we cut through the red tape and bureaucracy and stepped in to save local cafes and restaurants and give them that additional outdoor space to safely operate. But it just really drives home that point. Where there's a will, there's a way. If we decide the problem is big enough and important enough, so much is possible. So this marks the 4th Mental Health Advocacy Services annual celebration at which I have spoken. And for those of you regulars, you know that usually right about now, I somehow manage to work a Broadway show tune into my remarks. My apologies, tonight will be no exception to that rule. In a minute, we will be treated to an exclusive performance of the song Somewhere, sung by Holly Cedillos, who recently starred as Maria in an international performance of Leonard Bernstein's remarkable show, West Side Story, which made its Broadway debut in 1957. This has always been one of my favorite songs, and it's been performed by countless singers over the past 6 decades. The Supremes regularly performed the song Somewhere during the 1960s, adding a special dramatic monologue in the middle of the song that would change in conjunction with the news of the day. In the days following the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr., during this monologue interlude, Diana Ross profoundly said, yes, there is a place for us, but we must pursue this place where love is like a passion that burns like a fire. The song's lyrics point to, quote, a new way of living as the solution to the most profound challenges and inequities of our time. But that new way of living is not going to just magically appear. Rather, as Diana Ross said, we must continue to pursue this. Our vision statement puts it, where people with mental health disabilities thrive in the community, free from stigma, discrimination, and injustice. A place where all people are safely housed and economically stable, where we are all treated fairly everywhere we go, and where we each have the opportunity to pursue our own dreams. Thank you so much for joining us and for supporting us in our work towards that vision. And now, please enjoy Somewhere, performed by my friend and singer and actress, Holly Cedillos.
There's a place for us, somewhere, a place for us, peace and quiet and open air, wait for us somewhere. There's a time for us, someday a time for us, time together with time to spare, time to learn, time to care, someday. There's a place for us, a time and place for us. Hold my hand and we're halfway there. Hold my hand and I'll take you there. Somehow, someday, somewhere.
That was amazing. I think the only way I could follow that up is to give people stuff. But first, hang on one second. Let's talk a little bit. I want to thank Jim and Sue Hodge, Patricia Griffith, and Kenneth Petrulius, all for sending in donations already. Again, reminder, folks, we can't do this without you. Just text tonight 44321, type MHOS in your message, hit send, and you can just follow those simple steps to make a donation. All right, time to get down to some more fun and do draw a few more prizes. Again, we're going to draw 3 more right now. The first of which are 2 unlimited ride wristbands to Pacific Park in Santa Monica. All right, who's going to be the lucky winner of that? Let's see. We'll pull it out here, and we have Scott Burley. Scott, congratulations. You win those 2 unlimited ride wristbands at Pacific Park in Santa Monica. Moving right along to our next prize, 2 one-day tickets to Hurricane Harbor for the 2022 season. So next year, you'll be able to go to Hurricane Harbor, you and a friend. Azita Iskandar, it'll be you and a friend going to Hurricane Harbor, 2 one-day tickets to Hurricane Harbor for the 2022 season. That's going to be tricky. 2022 gets here. Okay, and our last prize this go around is an amazing Patagonia Black Hole Black Hole Duffel 55L. Patagonia Black Hole Duffel 55L. And the lucky winner of that is going to be September Ray. Congratulations, September. You win that Patagonia Black Hole Duffel. Now, I'm pleased to next welcome former MHAS honoree Miriam Bindot to share a bit about advances California has made in the past year to increase access to mental health care.
Hello, this is Miriam Bindot, and I'm honored to be here today to celebrate mental health advocacy services providing over 40 years of free legal services to low-income individuals with mental health needs. I'm also honored to be here to congratulate Tony Coelho, sponsor and author of the Americans with Disabilities Act, and this year's recipient of the Jim Price Memorial Award. At a time when mental health needs could not be greater, recognizing contributions by mental health advocacy services and Tony Coelho is particularly relevant. Mental health advocacy services and Tony have led the way to curb stigma and address the plights of individuals with mental health disabilities. Their work has inspired so many others, including me, to action. For example, in the past year, I have helped author and enact Senate Bill 855. SB 855 protects individuals suffering from mental health and substance use disorders from insurer misconduct. The law requires health insurers underwriting policies in California to cover all psychiatric conditions listed in the DSM across the full continuum of mental health care, ranging from outpatient to inpatient services, based on medical necessity standards developed by nonprofit professional specialty associations, instead of insurers' self-serving criteria. SB 855 requires special training for health insurers in the use of these nonprofit medical necessity standards. It also requires insurers to pick up the tab for out-of-network mental health services that cannot be obtained from network providers in a timely or geographically accessible manner. And it prohibits courts from extending any deference to insurers when benefit disputes are litigated in ERISA cases. Following passage of SB 855 in California, Oregon and Illinois adopted similar laws, which Congress is also considering following my testimony for the House Health, Employment, Labor, and Pensions Subcommittee. Now my work focuses on enforcing these consumer protections. I look forward to sharing more good news in the future as we continue to celebrate mental health advocacy services and honor distinguished members of the mental health community.
Hi, I'm Congressman Mike Levin, representative for California's 49th Congressional District. I just wanted to take a moment to thank Mental Health Advocacy Services for over 40 years of service to low-income individuals with mental health disabilities. 1 in 5 Americans will experience a mental illness in a given year, and 1 in 25 Americans lives with a serious mental illness, such as schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, or major depression. I want to thank Mental Health Advocacy Services' entire staff team, the board of directors, the volunteers, and the audience of supporters for the incredible work they do every single day. Finally, I want to offer my congratulations to tonight's honoree, Tony Coelho, a lifelong advocate of people with disabilities, who authored the Americans with Disabilities Act during his time in the House of Representatives. This legislation provides people with disabilities equal access to employment, public facilities, and transportation, and makes it possible for them to become full participating members of society. Thanks so much for having me.
Hi everyone, I'm Hilda L. Solis, Chair of the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors, and I represent the 1st District in Los Angeles County. It is my distinct honor to join everyone with Mental Health Advocacy Services today for your annual celebration. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to recognize a lifetime of work and advocacy of someone I call a dear friend, former Congressman Tony Coelho. Everyone gathered here today has been on the front lines of our mental health response for years, some of you for decades. Whether you're a clinician providing services, an advocate pushing for needed change, an attorney protecting the rights of people with mental health disabilities, or you are living with the mental health disability yourself, your work is essential. Today is a celebration of how far we've come while recognizing how far we still need to go. As we deal with the fallout from the pandemic, the need for expanded mental health services is greater than ever. During these past 2 years, the number of people reporting the pandemic impacted their mental health was over half. Yet at the same time, about a third of those reporting impacts said they decided to forego mental health treatment, with access being the #1 barrier. That's why the work of the advocates with mental health advocacy services is so critical. They're helping break the stigma of mental illness and improve access to mental health services for low-income Angelenos. They provide free legal services in Koreatown and also have a weekly clinic in El Monte in the 1st District. And I want to thank you for the essential work that you do, both in my district and throughout the county. And of course, it would be impossible to talk about the significant progress we've made with mental health without mentioning the work of my good friend, Tony Coelho. As you know, Tony pioneered and wrote the original American with Disabilities Act. He experienced discrimination firsthand. Instead of being discouraged by societal barriers placed upon him, Tony was determined to become a champion for change. He ran for Congress, and he used his platform to sponsor the Americans with Disabilities Act, which was ultimately signed into law in 1990. Thanks to his hard work, this comprehensive piece of civil rights legislation prohibits discrimination and guarantees that people with disabilities will have the same opportunities as everyone else. And during my time as Secretary of Labor, I got to work closely with Tony while overseeing the Office of Disability Employment Policy, which helped spearhead a national disability employment policy. And even now, more than 30 years after the ADA's original passage, Tony is not done working or advocating. He's now pushing to make sure the original rights outlined in ADA are translated in an increasingly digital world. Tony, I admire how often throughout these years you just keep pushing and give a voice to those who need it the most. I'm so grateful and honored to present you with the Jim Price Memorial Award in recognition of your decades of work so far. Congratulations. I can't think of anyone more who deserves this recognition, and I can't wait to see what you do next. And to everyone else here, thank you again for all your hard work, and congratulations on another year of fantastic service. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
Good evening to all of you on this very special night. Thank you, Hilda, for your kind words. Keep up the great job you're doing leading LA County and for fighting for mental health rights and care. To the folks of Mental Health Advocacy Services, thank you for this award reflecting my work, but more importantly, for the terrific work you do every day on behalf of low-income individuals with mental health disabilities. In honoring Jim Priest, I celebrate you for all you do for this community, though I do wish we could be celebrating in person. Now, when I was 16, I didn't know about disabilities. Then one day, milking cows in my family's dairy farm, I passed out. When I woke up, I learned that I had had a grand mal seizure. The doctor told my family, but not me, that I had epilepsy. But my family denied the diagnosis based on stigma, based on what they had been told that epilepsy meant, that you were possessed by the devil. So we went on to try other doctors until eventually I was taken to 3 different witch doctors who said that they could get rid of the evil spirits. But in the end, they failed. However, I was still possessed according to them. Now, my Republican friends might agree with that. Years later, while I was attempting to become a Catholic priest, I was told that per canon law from 400 AD, that if you had epilepsy or possessed by the devil, you could not be a priest. Soon thereafter, I lost my driver's license and struggled to find work. I began to drink heavily and became suicidal. One day, I was drunk on a hill in Griffith Park in Los Angeles. I was prepared to do the dirty deed. Then I heard a voice. It came to me over the nearby music and laughter of children on a merry-go-round. And the voice said to me, "You will be like those little kids. No one will stop you from doing what you want to do or say." I got my mojo back and began working for a member of Congress. Eventually, I chose to run myself and was elected in 1978. After winning, I got deeply involved in disability rights. Disability rights grew from grassroots efforts nationally as more and more individuals spoke out and advocated for the civil rights we never had. My experience with epilepsy helped me see firsthand that not only did we not have basic rights, but we also weren't recognized. I became the original sponsor of the Americans with Disabilities Act. It took 3 years to get the legislation passed by each chamber of Congress and signed into law by President George H.W. Bush in 1990. That was quick for such significant legislation. You may not believe that. More than a decade later, because of a Supreme Court decision that in effect excluded mental health, epilepsy, and other non-physical disabilities from ADA protection, we went back and passed the ADA Amendments Act, which was signed by George W. Bush in 2008. As such, we overturned the Supreme Court decision. Now we are advancing disability rights in all kinds of areas, such as the internet and voting rights, using ADA as the vehicle to make those changes. As these developments continue, one area where you can be of direct help is to bring into your circle athletes or other known individuals who are now acknowledging their own mental illness. We've seen several terrific athlete leaders do this already. Simone Biles, Olympic gymnast, medaling 7 times. Michael Phelps, Olympic swim star, medaling 28 times. Lane Johnson, all-pro football player in his 10th year with the Philadelphia Eagles, just came back from a 3-week leave. Naomi Osaka, tennis professional who withdrew from the French Open to tend to her mental health. Engage leaders who can help change the stigma that all of us with a disability face. You need to find others in all kinds of leadership positions. Support them in dealing with their stigma that surrounds them and us. In my view, stigma is the one major change we need to accomplish. It won't be easy. We need your help, however. As more and more known individuals, particularly young people, step out and share about their personal experience, it will give confidence to others who might be worried about how their own situation might impact their career and life. Doing this will make a big difference in dissolving the stigma we face. But please know, you've already made a huge difference in Los Angeles County and by example, in so many other areas. The service and support you provide is exemplary. So in Acknowledge Me, let's remember Jim Priest and celebrate the progress we are making and the success we know is ahead. Thank you. Love you for all you do. Good night.
Wow, thank you. Congratulations to you. We appreciate you for everything that you've done. Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to the end of the show. But first, don't leave yet. We've got some more business to handle. Want to thank Ashley Sipchin, Pamela Lazar, Yumi Mitchell, and Alexa Lawson-Rimmer for making donations to our organization tonight. And of course, we have more prizes to, oh, you know, you guys, wait a second, I look ridiculous here. Okay, there we go. So now I've got more prizes to, more opportunity drawing prizes to give out. 3 more to go here. Let's pull out the name. Our next prize is a Bombas Men's Space Die Calf and Ankle Sock 8-pack gift box. So calf and ankle socks 8-pack gift box from Bombas Men's Space Die. Let's just draw the names so we can move forward here. Here we go. All right. Nick Selden, congratulations. You get those Men's Space Die Calf and Ankle Sock 8-pack gift box. See, now I can finally say it. All right, let's keep going here. Next up, we're giving out a Shani Darden skincare gift set. Let's see who the big winner of this prize will be. And the winner is Cameo Stanek. Cameo Stanek, congratulations for winning that Shani Darden skincare gift set. And next up, we have the grand prize This is the big one, a $250 gift certificate to Petrosian, an upscale French cafe market known for its caviar, serving breakfast to dinner, fare, and Sunday brunch. That's going to be an amazing prize. I'm really excited for whoever the lucky person or persons are that will receive that. So let's give this a really good shake up here. And let's see, our grand prize winner of the gift certificate to Petrosian is Tom and Melanie Paps. Congratulations, Tom and Melanie Paps. You all win that $250 gift certificate to the upscale French Cafe Petrosian. Wow, folks, it's been a wonderful evening. I hope you all have enjoyed it the same way I have. I have really enjoyed it, and I am excited to bring back our executive director, Jenny Farrell, and our president of the board, Andrew Spitzer, to join as we say goodnight. Come on back, Jenny and Andrew. Welcome back. Hey, have you guys had a good time tonight?
I have had a great time. Thank you so much, Jerome, for always bringing the fun. Congratulations to all of the prize winners. We hope you enjoy your prizes. I really enjoyed hearing Tony share his story. I mean, that is just bananas about, having him experiencing being told that he was possessed by the devil. I feel like we've come a long way from when Jim and his colleagues at MHAS in the 70s were working, but I feel like we're standing on their shoulders and moving us to this new place. So I've had a great time. Thank you guys all so much for being here tonight. And thank you, Jerome and Andrew, for joining us live tonight as well.
And thank you, Jenny. I was inspired by everyone's story tonight. I want to just one more time thank all of our sponsors. Thank you for making this event happen. Thank you for helping carry forward the work of MHAS into next year.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.